Here is the Axon Kenya 36-liter backpack. This is a trekking backpack, and it's more like a budget backpack. It costs roughly 40 euros, so it's pretty cheap. But it does have quite a lot of features that you normally find on more expensive packs. So we're quickly gonna get into those in this video, just because I never found a video review of this backpack before I bought it, so I had to buy it first. And so I thought maybe I'll review it for other people who are thinking whether to purchase this backpack or not. So to begin with the exterior here, it's made out of this polyester ripstop, they call it, this pretty sturdy material apparently. I've taken it out on a few trips already around the mountains here, and so far so good, no wear and tear signs thus far. And also this red color, it comes either in red or black, but this red color that I chose seems to stay clean very nicely. It doesn't have any signs of dirt on it after all of these trips, so I kind of like that to begin with. Now, speaking of the exterior, you can see I still have my trekking poles mounted here, and that's being done with these elastic loops, 2 on each side of the pack. So you can firmly attach your trekking poles to the backpack when you don't want to use them, so it's very easy to carry them around. That's a really helpful feature there. In addition to that, you also have these compression straps on each side that also add some security to the way that those poles are attached there. And then you have the lateral pockets here. These are elastic, expandable pockets, pretty big. You can put a pretty big water bottle in there, or whatever drink you want to take with you. And you have compression straps down there as well, and also if the bottle is taller or something like that, you can put it under this compression strap as well to hold it in place. But the pocket itself is pretty big, so it will give you a lot of stability to begin with. One of the things that I like about it is that all the zippers come with these little finger loops, which come in pretty handy in different situations. The zippers themselves are pretty, they feel pretty sturdy. They don't feel cheap and weak. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the front and the sides here. Moving to the back then, of the exterior, and this is where things are really interesting, because you have this mesh here, where you can see my hand through it, right, in there. So there's this aluminum frame in here that keeps the back of the pack a little bit curved like that, so that there's a gap between the actual back of the backpack and your back, which will sit against this mesh. So that provides a lot of venting for your back, so that feels really comfortable. I really appreciated that feature. Then you have the chest belt here with a nice whistle included, pretty useful, and the hip belt, which adds stability. And you can play around with all of these belts, and just change the weight distribution a little bit so that there's less fatigue when you travel. Now these hip belts also have some pockets on both sides with zippers, and these also have the loops, but they're not too big. They might look bigger than they are actually, because I couldn't fit my smartphone in there. It's a pretty big smartphone, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus. But I suspect even the smaller ones, you might have trouble with fitting them inside here. So probably you will use these for other smaller items rather than the phone itself, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's one of the minor cons of the pack, I think. And speaking of capacity, the inside capacity, they say it's 36 liters, but it seems a little bit overstated to me. I think probably it is 36 liters without the aluminum frame of the back, but once you put that in, I think it's 30 at most, something like that. So don't expect it to be too big. It's just big enough for a comfortable one-day trip, something like that. Now, in terms of the interior of the pack, you have the main compartment here, up here. You can open it only from the top, and that's separated into 2 parts. One being conceived, the one in the back being thought of as more like a water bladder type of compartment. Of course, you can use it for anything you like, so this is where the tube from the water bladder would come out if you want to use that. Then you have smaller pockets here. This is a pretty big one as well, actually. It's a little bit bigger than it seems from the outside. Then the secondary one here, this is pretty big as well. And it's got a few mesh separators in there. And a somewhat smaller one here on the front, but this is still bigger than the zipper would suggest at first glance. Also, on the very bottom of the pack, you have right here, you have the zipper pocket for the rain cover, so, which is also included with the pack. But that's pretty much it in terms of the pockets and the inside compartments. But overall, pretty useful. Quite a lot of space, enough space definitely for a one-day trip. And yeah, pretty much packed with most features that you would find in much more expensive trekking backpacks. It's also pretty comfortable. I usually, like I said, I don't usually travel with it either, you know, completely strapped. Sometimes I do, and I use both the chest strap and the hip belt. Other times I don't use any of those two. Other times I would just use one of them, and you know, that change of pace and that change of weight distribution is usually more comfortable than just using one setup for the entire trip. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So you can make your own mind about this, but I think it's overall a pretty decent trekking backpack, especially for the money. So yeah, thanks for watching.